Hi, everyone. Welcome to our podcast, The Voices of Dental AI, where we talk to almost everyone in the dental AI industry, from technologists, practice owners, to founders. And today we have an amazing guest, Dr. Kianor Shah. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you for having me on the show, Dr. Malayam.
So tell me a little bit about what you're doing in AI, what you're seeing, and what's on the horizon in your opinion.
What I'm seeing in AI is a lot of confusion right now. It's like the wild, wild west, and it's going to take a period of time where we actually normalize this, what I call a divine tool, that's going to enable clinicians like anything we've ever seen. As a consequence of just sitting around and talking to all these AI companies and AI experts and finding what the crux of the problem is I think we need to come together and stop being in our silos and network with one another to determine a path forward when it comes to standards, governance, administration, cybersecurity, and all those topics that make dentists afraid of getting engaged, number one. Number two, I think we need to create a system where doctors and dentists can have a roadmap on where to start. There's so many products out there, and how do you know which one is right? So I'm kind of involved in those two aspects of the artificial intelligence space, and I think it's the future for all of us.
Yeah, I mean, you called it the wild, wild west, which I agree with, and I think it has some definitely some truth. Now, why do you think it's the wild, wild west? What makes it so, unorganized in that manner?
Dr. Malayam, we're for the first time in our history as humans encountering something that might be smarter than us. So there's people sitting around in basements and whipping out apps overnight by combining one thing with another. There's no regulation around it. You don't have any patient equity, patient respect for privacy. You have products coming out, they disappear. Doctors get afraid. They're like, okay, here I'm running a HIPAA-based business here, and it's going to expose me to all kinds of legal issues. So Wild Wild West is somebody's got to accredit these companies. Somebody's got to accredit these organizations and say, hey, yeah, they're legitimate. They have cybersecurity covered. There's not going to be any threats. This doesn't violate. There's lawsuits out there, Dr. Shervin, class action lawsuits of AI recording patients in a two-party state. And people are not thinking ahead. So we have to kind of find a framework, not just for the patients, but also for the doctors. So, yeah, Wild Wild West, everywhere right now. Yeah. We have to calm it down and create a civilization around it.
Exactly. And then what do you think? What are the tools that you're seeing that are, in your opinion, going to transform dentistry? What are the services and solutions?
Well, I think that our colleagues should start somewhere with credible organizations that have been around since the beginning of this. I think the next 5 years is going to be tremendously key for entrepreneurs that are in the space to come up with ideas. We like ideas that come out of the doctor mind because they keep the Hippocratic principles in the back of their mind. And I think it's going to be a boom for a while. The next 5 years is going to determine your career. If you're not using AI now, you're going to have legal problems in 3-4 years, I can assure you, because as a doctor, you're obligated to use tools.
Yeah, which tools? What are we talking here? What kind of tools are we talking about?
Well, let's talk about your diagnosis. When you have patients in the chair and you get a diagnostic tool that gives you a second opinion, it's kind of like when the intraoral camera came out. That sells cases and also, increases your case acceptance and also gives the patients some confidence that you're not, trying to upsell them or whatever it is that some patients have an impression of us for. So diagnostic, big time. Right now, that's a big play. 2D, 3D analysis, things of that sort. But where is it going? It's going to affect the front desk. In the next 2 to 3 years, you're going to see holograms, robots that are going to start popping up in these offices, where you take away all of this administrative burden from the front desk and your staff can pay time and attention to patient care. And then, I foresee that the supply chain is going to change. We're going to have less employees in offices and more efficiency. So this is going to be a gradual thing that's going to happen, boom, 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 one after another, and at times one is going to go more rapid than the other. But there are tools, like for example, trust. I use that in my office. That's how we got more acquainted with one another on a professional level. And it's amazing the things that you guys are doing on that front. I don't spend 2 hours at the office at the end of the day to write notes anymore. It also improves your quality of life. So the pessimists that are sitting there and saying, "Oh, it's going to take our jobs away," no, it's going to make your job away. It's going to take your job away because you don't know how to use it. But the ones that are using it, it's just going to improve their quality of life, their income, the quality of the patients that they're seeing, and altogether a much better situation than before. But there's a lot of tools. I don't like dropping names. There's, for example, just to mention, if you want to get started, there's things like Valmany or Overjet or Pearl. They're pretty safe bets to start off with. You go in there and you start learning one. Don't get engaged into long contracts. But if you see some app pop on Facebook that says, "Oh, we can do this and we can do this," I would be very careful with it.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree with that, because if you get, especially in a long contract with one of these companies and they're a point solution, and then they just stuck with one or two services, where there's another company that may have a whole suite that are talking to each other, then you missed out. Then you committed too fast, too early, and then you don't have the other services. Like, for example, right now, if you look at the industry, AI affects marketing. SEO is now changing to more AI based. So bringing in the patients. The front desk is benefiting because you have the AI receptionist. Insurance verification. So all this time is being saved. And then now to the clinic, that's where the next phase is more clinical tools, the diagnosis, the treatment planning. Then the next phase after that is robots and how they're going to help. Amongst all that, if you think about it, we talked about people being scared, dentists being scared. They were scared because of the unknown, right? It was always an unknown in the beginning. I think there is less of an unknown. I think we're past that phase where people thought, "Oh my God, my job is going to be taken over." You see it in the comments of posts where people get defensive, right? Because you have this whole livelihood based on this, and there's this alien being that's basically the most intelligent thing in the world that can overtake you. We're past that. And now it's dentists and offices that use it are going to be the ones that get ahead.
Correct. I concur with that assessment. It's spot on. You always have had this problem. Excuse me 1 second here. Let me...
Yeah.
My apologies, Doc. I'm at the office still, and it's a Friday afternoon with you. And there's some endo going on back there, so there's going to be some screaming. When the internet came out and the cell phones, you had people sitting around and complaining, and then other industries developed around the internet. And now if we took the internet away, we couldn't even go back to the standard of living in the 30s. Everything would collapse. So there's going to be new jobs formed. There's going to be new industries formed. There's going to be a little breaking pattern between now and then where we see these rapid changes, and that's been repeatedly shown in history when new technologies come about. That is what we can anticipate. But putting us out of a job, I don't think so. AI can't hold a license. Healthcare is the most guarded when it comes to AI. And I think we're in a very good place. If we were smart and we use this divine tool, again, people get shocked when I say that, but this can eliminate a lot of our headaches. Insurance industry, for example, number one complaint of most doctors. If you ask 10 doctors, probably 8 of them will tell you the same thing. So when you go in and you say, here is the AI, it can create the same thing that this entire industry is doing for pennies on the dollar. And suddenly there's trillions of dollars on the table for patients and doctors. So AI can be very powerful.
Yeah, especially with agentic AI. And so now I'm sure you saw the Claude bot, Molt bot situation that happened about a week ago. You hear about that, where all the agents were in a room, like a Facebook room for only like the AI, and they were chatting. Did you hear about that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, I heard about that.
So it's
Some of
kind
that
of
stuff is, go ahead.
yeah, it's kind of it's pretty scary when you see that this an agent meaning it can make decisions on its own, right? It's been instructed to do things, but it's you know it's pretty autonomous, where it could start thinking and making decisions and actions, and even taking action. Has memory, has ability to reason, and so taking that, it can go a step too far too if it's not controlled properly. These agents, right? So they're now saying we need a kill switch, and I agree. We
Hmm.
need something that's going to be able to say, okay, if it gets out of hand with the one press of a button, you could turn things off. Now, taking it to what we're doing in dentistry, these agents are able to do so much. Like if you look at ChatGPT and you look at an inquiry, or you're prompting it to do something, a task, now it's able to do that. Or in one of these other AIs like Claude, it'll show what it's doing. It's saying, I am thinking this. I'm extracting from this website this information, creating a PDF to put this in. And you can see what it's doing. And off of your prompt, it could be very simple, it's now doing 10, 15 things that would take someone hours at least, and then giving an answer and giving it to them on a platter. So that's happening with insurance, for example, verification, claim status check. It's happening with billing in RCM for dentistry, where it's able to check insurance, cross-reference the CDT code, go back, make sure that the numbers are good and right, submit the claim, check up on it, let you know when it's been received. So dentistry is going to have this kind of like kind of an autopilot feature that will notify you and give you information throughout the week even as you need it. So that's the part that I'm very excited about. And I see that being a huge change in making dentists and really office managers' lives easier.
I agree. You guys are in the forefront of this at Trust Dentistry, and I'm following your work very closely. Another thing that you guys are doing that excites me is the connection between the medical and dental. This is also what the summit is about in London. But for thousands of years, we've been in our silos, and we're not really connecting with all of our colleagues.
Yes.
And again, going back to that tool, it's our duty to utilize any tool available to us. So by connecting to your medical doctors, because I've had these discussions with you, predictive analysis is now a big deal. It's no longer that medical doctors are in the forefront of medicine, and they're not too happy when I say it, but we are the chosen ones. We are in the forefront of medicine. Patients come to us twice a year. They get their health data. That's very powerful. They just get those patients a lot of times for pain-driven scenarios. They come to our offices and they give us that data, and we plug it into the AI and predictive analysis. Let me give you an example. If you have a patient that is a smoker and you say, hey, stop smoking, they'll never stop smoking. They're gonna think that, hey, I can take my chances, I'll die in 20 years. But when you approach them and say, hey, you have diabetes, you're a smoker, you're taking this, you're taking that, you have 5 years to live, that kind of changes the reception by the patient. Says, hey, I need to do something about it, or I'm going to be gone. And then making referrals to the medical doctors that I speak with all the time. I'm like, make friends with your dentist. That's going to be your best referral source. Come next year, come the year after. It's being built into all these systems.
Yeah, that's a good point. And what we're seeing is with the predictive, it'll be able to say, there's a 43% chance that in 5 years, so-and-so will happen, right? So,
Yes.
and then as you look at that, it could be tooth loss, it could be gum recession getting worse, it could be a cavity deepening, depending on their diet, depending on the history, if it looks at 4 different X-rays before, and it sees that the cavity is not getting bigger, then that's a
Mind-boggling, right?
that, hey, let's chill out. We don't need to go in and be aggressive. So
How could
predictive
this
is
be a
really,
bad thing? How could
what is
this
that?
ever be a bad thing for anyone? How could this be considered a bad thing? I mean, look at what it can do for us,
Yeah,
and what we can do for the patients with it. You know,
yeah,
you said that was your favorite part of the things that are coming. My favorite part right now is what I've been seeking for over a decade, is to have instant responses, instant information, instant designs of content that I create, instant letters professionally written without typos and errors, and all those things that I would spend hours on looking for are seconds now.
yep.
So I have more time to spend with my daughter these days because the AI does a lot of it. So
Exactly, yeah. And the gap between a specialist and a generalist is going to decrease, because in the moment that you need the help, you're going to be able to have that help, right? That's a new thing, because before, when you needed help, you had to go to take a course, you had to phone a friend, you had to really, it was hard to get it real time. So a lot of the procedures that people did were, of course, more in their comfort zone, less risky. Watch a YouTube video, for example, right before doing a new procedure, things like that. Now, you know, I could foresee a future that you're in the middle of a difficult procedure and you take a picture and you have the AI guide you based off of where you are.
very
That will
possible.
come.
Yes.
And anything that you think of that is really anything, it's everything that we saw in the movies growing up is happening. Elon Musk just announced
Terminator,
that,
remember that one?
yeah, yeah, everything's happening. The robots are happening. Elon Musk is sending satellites he's going to be sending, to collect energy from the sun. He just announced this week. He wants to make data centers up in space because it's the cheapest, and he's right. It's going to be the cheapest way to
You know, one of the
to
guys he works with is actually
you.
going to be in London regarding that data centers. And in fact, this group that I'm working with is putting stations up in the air, in the sky, for the purpose of cooling of databases for healthcare systems. And they're actually going to be in London. So we have actually companies that are in the space business now coming to
Yeah.
London. Very high
Tell me a
profile
little bit
meeting.
about
But it's,
London. So just for people that don't know, so Dr. Shah, he is a practice owner, part-time practice, been practicing for decades, doing dentistry, implants, very advanced. He's and really embraced technology his whole career, and he's a forward thinker. And he saw really one of the early people that I know that saw AI as being this huge thing that it's becoming. And so he put a network of dentists, mainly dentists actually. One of his main things is dentists should be in charge of the policies and the decisions that happen in dentistry, right? Because they took the oath, and they're the ones that either benefit or get hurt by these policies. So he put up a whole community, international, all over the world, from the Middle East to Asia to Europe. So tell us about that. I mean, it's really fascinating what you've done, and a real big accomplishment so far.
you know, where it all started for me was a broken healthcare system around the globe. They put 100 scientists in a room, and these guys came out with the atomic bomb. And I was thinking to myself, what would happen if you put 100 high-performing doctors in a room and see what kind of ideas come out of that? So we started the world's top 100 doctors movement. The first class was many years ago. Today we are 1,100 high-performing doctors from 163 countries. And every other odd year, we do a Doctors' World Gala on an island in Italy, and in the even years, we hold a global symposium in most important topic in healthcare at a given time. This year, we're gathering up 100 AI experts from across the world that are in dentistry and medicine. It's like a half and half deal. In London, because of the geopolitical situation right now in the U.S. is a little tough with everybody being able to get in and get out and visas and whatnot. So our constituents coming in from all over the world. And the objective is to maximize networking for 3 days and address, there's a dozen programs. One that I'm very excited about is HIV, Health Intelligence Board, where we have health ministers coming, some royals, some leading figures from the entire regulatory and standard space across the world, some chairs from those organizations. And we're going to talk about how we're going to create something that has the potential of oversight and regulation. That's one. But if you're just a dentist and you want to come in and you don't care about that kind of thing and you want to get your 30, 40 CEUs, and we have 2 tracks on Saturday and Sunday that go at 15-minute intervals of the leading figures in AI, some of the finest. And they're going to talk about concise plans regarding AI and what's going on in this industry. And you can pick up, and it's not just AI, there's oral surgery stuff going on, there's endo stuff, there's all kinds of stuff in the dental track, and there's also all kinds of stuff in the medical track, because the medical guys know things that we don't know, and we know things that they don't know. So we want everybody to maximize. And there's the Hippocratic Awards Gala. If you have ideas that would improve the quality of our lives as dentists, we live similar lives as doctors, or for patients, whoever comes up with the best ideas, we will not only award them, but we will also reward them financially with our doctors fund that we are working on, composed of a host of doctors, doctor-led financial organization. The idea is to create a closed-loop system of doctors in a financial, administrative, and academic scenario, and we're using AI to achieve this. So when you come there, you're going to have 700 people in there. At least 300 of them are extremely high profile. One of those guys could change the trajectory of your career, let alone the 300. We're going to network for 3 days, back to back, and the intent is to bring order to the wild, wild west, if you will. So I encourage you guys to come. On top of that, we're going to have a lot of fun.
Amazing, yeah. I'll be there
and
too.
Make lifelong friends.
Yeah, I said I want to be there, speaking, helping, and I'm excited. You know, one of the things that's really interesting about just this movement and the landscape of what's going on in the world with AI is people think, you know, what is AI going to kill, right? Make extinct. And one thing that will never, I would say, I shouldn't say never, but I think I can pretty much say almost never get rid of is a community and a network. And that's what this is, this organization. It's a network, it has value, and it brings people together. And when ideas come together and people come together from different parts of the world and different backgrounds, that's when magic happens.
Well, put that on top that you're talking about 30 million doctors running around. We're the most respected by the society, unlike politicians and lawyers and etc. And if a fraction of us, 0.5% of us united, literally less than 1%, would be the most powerful entity on this planet with the most assets and most respect from society. So not only AI, but there's no other force that could actually bring this kind of a community down. So if you want to stand united, we're going to stand. And that's what we have to do. We have to get together and collaborate with people that are well positioned in the supply chain to achieve our objectives.
All right, I'm going to do some rapid fire questions to catch you off guard. All right, so name me one thing that you like about AI.
Efficiency.
One thing that you hate about AI.
Too much hype.
What scares you?
That AI falls into the wrong hands instead of doctors' hands.
That's true. What do you foresee dental AI looking like in 10 years?
Front desk limited to one person doing customer service. Rest is all managed by holograms, robots, preoperative instructions, postoperative care. All of that will become legal documents that those conversations have been had. The back will consist mostly of probably an assistant or two. Robots will be doing most of the sterilization, most of the clinic notes and everything around the office and stocking. And I think a doctor in about 10 years, let's say 15 to 20 years, a doctor is just going to be monitoring the machines that are cutting the crowns and doing the fillings. That's where I think it's going to head.
In 10 years, also, when you look back, what might you say that we did wrong with dental AI?
I might say we wasted too much time worrying about what it's going to do, and instead of embracing it and utilizing it in better ways. That would be my only concern, to act now. We didn't act fast enough.
And if you were to tell a practice owner what to do, what's the first step they should do? What would you recommend?
Start. Don't wait for second, third, fourth generations of software. Start. Don't commit to long-term contracts. Play around with it. Start understanding the language, and have the ability to get out if you need to, if something better comes into the marketplace. But start. Don't sit there contemplating. The baby boomers, I don't expect them to do anything really. They've been doing the same stuff for 40, 50 years. You know, hang out with the guys that are younger or that are in the mid of their career, and get on the ship. And the trillionaires of our times are going to come out of people that are using AI to improve some kind of process. If you're an innovative mind, you can also get engaged in that. That's what I would tell them. Start looking at AI. It's just going to change the way we do things across all industries, really.
What percent of an office do you guesstimate to be reducing their overhead will be reduced by with AI?
So in general, if you currently have about a 70% overhead, I think you're going to be heading towards about a 40 to 35 to 40% overhead, I'd say, in the future. You know, you're going to eliminate a lot of unnecessary overhead altogether. So that would be my answer: 35 to 40% versus 65 to 70 we face now.
At what point do you think patients are going to demand their dentist to use it for diagnosing and treatment planning?
Very soon. If you're going to walk into an office and they don't have these kind of things, it becomes a second-class office. But I don't think it will get anywhere to a point where a patient demands to see a robot as their care provider. Patients are always going to want that human touch, that human empathy, especially in dentistry where anxiety is high. If that answers your question.
Yeah. And how do we measure if it's crossing the line and becoming harmful? What's the point where it's extremely helpful and then it could possibly tip over to becoming negative?
Yeah, if robots start self-diagnosing and rendering care, diagnosis needs to stay with the doctor, period, at the final diagnosis, regardless of what the AI spits out. So, you know, when we're making standards right now, and I'm involved in some of that with the ADA and other institutions, they usually say that the dentist is responsible for the final thing. I mean, it's a right thing, but it's not a good standard. They just don't have the time to really get into the crux of all of this. But ultimately, that should never change, is a robot having a dental license or a medical license or anything like that. And I don't think that'll ever happen. So at the very worst, you're going to be overseeing the machines that are doing this stuff.
Very good. Your answers are on point. Yeah, no, you said you could ask you anything, and your knowledge of it is impressive. Anything that you would like to share with the audience that we haven't discussed?
No, I am very grateful for the Trust organization. It was one of the first ones I got engaged with. And I spent a lot of time in this space. I think what you guys are doing with OneHealth is mind-boggling. And I'm very excited to actually, because your OneHealth goes hand in hand with the Medical Dental Summit. And as you know, we're going to be doing some great, amazing things there together with your company persons that I'm working with that you may or may not be aware of. But it's going to be very exciting. And my last thing is, don't let a good opportunity go to waste. Don't listen to the pessimist. Listen to the optimist, and focus straight forward, and you will succeed and prevail. You have 5 years. That's my prediction. That's the prediction of many experts actually in the AI space, to develop things that are going to change your life, your career. Try to do that in the next 5 years, because it's going to plateau like everything else.
Well said. Well said. Thank you so much, Dr. Shah, for coming on and giving us such good pearls. And to the audience, thank you again for joining, for listening. And until next time, we'll see you soon for our next guest. So farewell. See you soon.
Thank you.